All right, hello once again, Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, and I've been doing a series of video presentations based on the ebooks of Mr. Flavio Copes, and I'm right now into his React ebook. This is my second video based on that, and we're about to go into React components. So the author says, you saw how easy it was to create our first app. The application comes with a series of files that do a lot of different stuff, but the one that stands out, it says, is app.js. So let's take a look at the app.js. As it says, that's the one that we want to edit to make our program go. So this one's open now. Let's close it. And let's go into source because that's where it is. And there's app.js right there. Now, when you start to look at it, it may look a little bit funny. One of the reasons that it may look a little bit funny is that what React uses is its own language, so to speak, that's called JSX, which is JavaScript XML. In other words, it's sort of a cross between JavaScript, HTML, and XML. All right? All right, so this is the code that we have in here right now. And an application built using React, or there's other front-end frameworks as well, is built using dozens of these components. So the author says, let's start by taking it from the top. All right? And when you look in here, well, there's one thing that used to be in this that's not in here anymore. It used to always say at the top, and I don't think it would hurt to put this in, but used to always say at the top, import React from React. All right, and I don't think it would hurt to put that back in. Evidently, it doesn't hurt to leave it out. But this is being used for our logo, and this is being used if you look at what's in here and we do an open. Whoops. Notice we've also got an app.css file that's right here. All right. So not only are we importing this stuff, but when you look through here, we're also exporting something. All right. So the things we import in here are, this would bring us in the React NPM package, the Node Package Manager package. All right. This would be basically, again, for that image, logo.svg. In fact, we should actually be able to, just to show you this, I'm going to come in here just to show you how easy, if we really wanted to, we could fix or play with this stuff. So I'm going to go to images.google.com and I'm going to put in Rankin Technical College logo, and there's one I kind of like, and that's this one. So I'm going to do a save image as, and I'm going to go to my desktop because we're just playing around anyway. React to-do list, source. All right. And you'll notice in there, there's logo.svg, right? Well, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to try to put in here logo.ping. All right. And then I'm going to come into here and I'm going to change this from logo.svg. I don't know if it'll work or not. I haven't tried it with a ping, but I'm going to. I've saved that. So now I'm going to go back to our file that we had. I don't know if it's still running or not. Now we see Rankin moving around. All right. Okay. Again, it's not a big thing one way or the other, but I just wanted you to see that so we can change things around if we're so inclined. Okay. All right. Let's go back to this file here. Create React app, Cope says in here, is set up in a way that allows us to import images and CSS to use in JavaScript, but it's nothing we need to worry about for now. All right. What we need to start thinking about is the concept of a component. And if you say, I don't know what that is, that's what the rest of this thing is going to be about. All right. If I want, I can move this back to SVG again. Save. Go back to here. And you'll notice it's back again. All right. So app. All right. We've got here div class name equals app. Okay. And here we're exporting app. I mean, what the heck is that? Well, you'll notice here app is a function. All right. It's a function that here is going to return something, again, that looks kind of strange. It sort of looks like HTML, but it sort of looks like JavaScript as well when you start looking at some of the stuff that's in here. What do I mean? Well, that kind of looks like, and these both kind of look like they're HTML, but we'd say class equal, not class name. The reason you have to use class name here instead of class is a reserved word in regular JavaScript. So the people who came up with these languages like React said, well, we'll use class name. All right. This basically says the source equals, and it says, hey, go find that. And in a way, this almost, not quite, but it almost looks like you're using a template literal here. But what we're doing is it looks like an HTML tag, except you'll notice that what we're putting in there is an actual value. Again, we've got class name, we got alt. There's a regular paragraph, but again, we're saying edit code, all right, and save to reload. All right, and here's our hyperlink. So again, it looks a little bit weird. JSX is a language that's used to build the components output. We're going to talk more about JSX in just a couple minutes. But a component has other characteristics. It can have state. And state, what it does is it encapsulates or kind of hides some variables that other components can't access unless we expose the state. So you can kind of look at it. We've looked at things as being public and private, etc. Now we're almost looking at it as though there's something else, not really public and not really private. All right. And what I mean by that is it's not public and that it's not accessible to everyone, but it's not private. It's basically it's whomever we decide to make it public to, for lack of better words. All right. A component can also receive data from other components. You're going to see that as we go on. And in that case, we talk about properties, or what are typically referred to as props. Okay. So let's take a little bit more of a look here at talking about some JSX, because you can't really talk about React until you've got a knowledge or an understanding of JSX. All right. So you see what's in there. And basically, the JSX is everything that's in the function. Okay, previously we didn't really look at what was inside of this return. First of all, notice it's a return that starts there and it ends there. So what are we returning? All this. Now, it sounds a little weird, but by default, when you return something, notice what we're returning: a header with an image, a paragraph, an anchor tag, etc. What sounds weird, what I'm about to tell you is, by default, you can only return one thing. But look, we're returning 5 or 6 things. Why can we do that? We can do that because if you want to return multiple things, you have to put them in a container, like a div. And that's what we're doing right here. So we call JSX everything that's wrapped inside of the parentheses that's returned by the component. So everything between this paren and this paren. In other words, everything that's right here. Again, it looks sort of like HTML, but it's not really HTML. All right. And I don't know about you, but I'm not used to seeing almost straight HTML inside of a JavaScript file. Okay. Under the hood, React will process the JSX and it'll transform it into JavaScript that the browser can interpret. I don't expect that to make any sense to you. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to grab every bit of this, every bit, and I'm going to go out and hopefully I remember the name of the website. Well, that wasn't it. That's not it either. babbljs.io. That's it. All right. There should be a thing in here that says try it out. Okay, so what I'm going to put in here is what we had automatically for us. So I'm going to put all this in. That's it. This is what we see right here. This is, for lack of better words, the raw JSX and what it gets converted to. Now, I don't know about you. Not only is this shorter, all right, about 10 lines small to 8 or 10 lines smaller, but this is much more English-like, much more HTML-like that I'm used to than this is. But we're going to look at both, and we'll even talk about Babel in the future, not right now. So under the hood, React processes the JSX and transforms it into JavaScript. So it turns from this into this. And that the browser can interpret. You actually could have written it the way that's shown on the right. I don't know of anybody who does, but you could do it that way. All right. So we're writing JSX, but in the end, there's a translation step that's going to make it understandable to the JavaScript interpreter. All right. React gives us this interface because, again, it's much easier to build with this than it is to build with this. All right. And, you know, that's, of course, that's supposing that it's easier once you get familiar with it. All right. So the idea here is one of the main benefits of JSX is it makes it easier to build a UI. I'm keeping these presentations short. I'm going to end this one right now.